live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's three quick stories you're seeing on social this morning. German police detained climate activist Greta Thunberg. She was protesting the demolition of a village to expand a coal mine.
And defending champ and #1 seed Rafael Nadal has been knocked out of the Australian Open in the second round. American Mackenzie McDonald moves on after beating the tennis great in straight sets.
America, yes. And check this out. This is video going viral. Shows a 12-year-old boy off the Florida coast. He actually caught a great white shark
my goodness.
while fishing with his family. What would you even do at that point?
You just let it go. You cut the line and you let it go.
Yeah, that looks fun. Nope.
All right, well, the Clark County Sheriff's Office this morning is getting some help to buy some new safety gear for their deputies. This comes after Deputy Matthew Yates died in the line of duty back in July.
Clara Faith joins us live from Springfield this morning. And Clara, how much money was raised?
Bearberry Winery in Eden raised nearly $13,000 to honor both Deputy Suzanne Harper and Matthew Yates. They both died in the line of duty. After Deputy Yates died in July, the community came together to help prevent tragedies like this from happening again. So the winery sold wine bottles honoring Deputy Yates and Harper. For each bottle sold, they donated $4 to the Clark County Sheriff's Office. According to the Clark County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Deb Burchard, the money will go towards buying ballistic shields. She also thanks the community for coming together to make this happen.
I just want to thank everyone here for what they did, because it's just any time that my deputies, girls or guys, can have something that makes them safer on the streets, that's the most important thing to me.
The ballistic shields are made to stop a wide variety of bullets. The sheriff's office brought 60 shields, and each deputy on the force will have one. And coming up, Deputy Yates' wife shares how this can help save the lives of deputies in the future. Now back to you guys in studio.
In the last week, thieves have made off with 38 cars in the Dayton area. Police say 29 of those were Kias and Hyundais. Social media is flooded with Kia Boy videos showing how these cars are stolen. Police are now urging all drivers to buy steering wheel locks for their vehicles. Remember, you can check car thefts in your area by heading to the Community Crime Map at communitycrimemap.com.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're looking at. A cooler start to your morning today is going to probably end up just about that temperature cooler than we saw yesterday. Yesterday we had an impressive 59 degrees. I mean, we're talking about temperatures not just a little bit above average, but actually approaching record values. As for today, it's a little bit of a setback. Still warmer than average. 39 right now in Dayton, 38 in Troy, 36 in Wapakoneta. So we are talking about a mild start to your morning, but again, not quite as mild as it will be or as it once was. Low pressure right now is spinning across the central United States. That will eject its way into us. From there, we'll deal with some showers, but not during the daytime. If anything, it'll be partly to mostly cloudy today. Temperatures into the upper 40s. That rain starts this evening, and there could be actually some periods of intense rainfall, maybe even a couple rumbles of thunder. We'll time that out for you coming up in just a bit. Now, as for the roads this morning, two issues right now. Highway 4 North and Harshman Road and Home Ave. If that's part of your morning commute, give yourself some extra times. No major issues, 675, 35, 4, or 70 or 75.
We now know this morning a Cleveland man is behind bars on a $5 million bond after police say he shot 5 of his family members, which 4 of them died. The only survivor is a child. Vic Gideon explains what happened in court.
Martin Muniz, charged with aggravated murder. Young man, what's your name? Martin Muniz.
The 41-year-old Muniz charged with shooting 5 people, 4 fatally, on Mack Court in Brooklyn Center Friday, appearing in court for the first time.
The state will ask for at least a $5 million bond in this case. The defendant presents a very high flight risk.
The prosecution then laid out the reason for the high bond. Muniz accused of killing his sister, her son, her father, and her husband.
We have 5 victims. 4 of them died as a result of gunshot wounds. The defendant was interviewed. He gave a statement in regards to how he did this. showing no remorse or empathy for the victims.
The state asking for consideration of the youngest victim, 8-year-old Ayana.
We have a victim, his 8-year-old niece that survived. She was shot in the neck. She's still in the hospital. The state will ask for a no-contact order.
Judge Charles Patton then set the bond at the amount requested by the prosecution.
$5 million cash surety, Mike.
A new study is breaking down how a second respiratory illness can impact kids with COVID-19. The journal Pediatrics published data on over 4,300 children hospitalized because of coronavirus. They say 21% also had another respiratory virus. Patients younger than 5 tended to be sicker with more severe symptoms, and they were more likely to need more oxygen support. Experts say the findings highlight the importance of keeping kids up to date on all their vaccines.
For the third year running, COVID-19 is expected to be the third leading cause of death in the U.S. That's according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Only heart disease and cancer have actually killed more people. Many states are still reviewing death certificates and refining their reports, so we don't have the final numbers, of course. COVID-19 has killed more than 1 million people in the U.S. since the pandemic began. Life expectancy is now down 2.5 years.
This morning, we're waiting to learn if the nearly 8,000 troops who refused the COVID-19 vaccine will get back pay. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin repealed the vaccine mandate a week ago. Republican lawmakers are calling for those service members to get reinstated or given an honorable discharge and full back pay. The Pentagon says it's still exploring options.
And this morning, the Department of Veterans Affairs is now expanding emergency mental health care for veterans, even if they're not in the VA system. Veterans in an acute suicidal crisis can now get a free treatment from any VA or non-VA healthcare facility. That covers inpatient care, outpatient care, and reimbursements for transportation and follow-up care as well. The Secretary of Veterans Affairs saying, quote, "This expansion of care will save veterans' lives, and there's nothing more important than that."
The National Museum of the U.S. Air Force will be closed on January 25th for emergency management response training. Now, if you're close to the museum that day, you may see emergency vehicles, travel delays and blocked roads, and hear alert sirens. The museum's asking you to plan ahead. They'll reopen at 9 o'clock the next morning.
Our time right now, 5:07. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
New questions about White House policy and if there should be official logs of who visits the president at his personal home after classified documents were found there. I'm Scott Thuman in Washington with an update.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. We are looking at some clouds right for now, but the rain is, well, in the region, starting to move in towards the greater St. Louis area. That will eventually get over the top of us. I don't think it's here during necessarily the daytime, though, with the exception of maybe about 5 p.m. I do expect it to basically be an overnight event, meaning 7, 8, 9, 10 through midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. By the time we get towards 8, we'll be looking at some clearer skies moving in. No temperatures, mid-50s tomorrow. Much warmer air in the place. I think we'll make a run into the upper 50s. We could even sneak a few 60-degree marks. That being said, there is at least a chance for a couple of showers, mainly afternoon, evening time frame. That's also the period where we could actually get some strong gusty winds, think on the order of 40, maybe even 50-mile-per-hour gusts. As for any type of cold air, that will arrive on Friday, and it's really not necessarily cold for this time of year. In fact, if anything, it's just cold because we've been so warm. On Friday itself, maybe just a lingering flurry here or there, but I wouldn't put much in the way of measurable snow on a map, not until even at the absolute earliest, the weekend. As for rainfall amounts, this could be a decent rainfall for us. Yesterday we talked about a wide variety of solutions. Seems to be we're inching up close to that half to a full inch of rain. Of course, you could always get locally more or less, depending on where some of those heavier bands set up and just how long they linger. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, one incident right now, Highway 48 Dogleg Road. If that's part of your morning commute, give yourself some extra time. Still, no major issues across the area, so doesn't look like a morning commute where yesterday we saw the wet roads today, a little bit drier. So good news there. Tomorrow is going to be back to wet roads, and with the winds, it may not be a great day. It's not a, oh my gosh, we need to, honk every horn and, like push every button, go crazy day. Just give yourself some extra time tomorrow morning.
I'll tell you why I can use more days like yesterday. My God.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
It was so
Went on
beautiful.
a big family walk, the sun.
Well, I didn't get to do that, but I still got to enjoy the sun, and that was nice.
Meanwhile, I did the old man thing of sit on the porch with the dog as I got the grill cranking up.
There you go. I'm still enjoying that beautiful weather, though.
Yeah, I mean, I got to do that, so I'm happy.
Yep.
Vitamin D makes us all happy.
Amen. A live look this morning from the White House, where more questions are now being asked about classified documents and who might have had access to top secret information.
Dayton 24/7 Now's chief political correspondent Scott Thuman shows us the latest in the controversy over Biden and his predecessor's mishandling of classified papers.
Miles away from the White House, the Penn Biden Center wasn't just the setting for ideas. It was also where President Biden held classified, reportedly some top secret documents from his time in the Obama administration, a think tank that hosted everyone from foreign dignitaries to media members to college students.
We want this to be a gathering place for people with good ideas.
And then there's Biden's Delaware home, where more sensitive materials were stored in the garage area for potentially 6 years, but where the White House says there are no visitor logs to monitor who came and went in that time.
Apparently some of the most highly sensitive material we have in the United States government at a residence that we need to know who that was exposed to, potentially.
There, friends and family were considered frequent visitors, Republicans focusing in on Biden's son Hunter, a target of their own inquiries. But there was also campaign staff during Biden's run for president working at the home due to COVID.
Like all families, the Biden family is adjusting to new ways.
And that meant bringing in plenty of people. As Politico reported in March of 2020, President Biden said his house was being outfitted with equipment so that he could live stream events, and that he had to hire a professional team of people just to do that. Democrats joining Republicans in wanting answers as a special counsel investigates.
As we get to know the facts better in the months ahead, we'll better understand what, if any, risk there was to national security.
Does President Biden have confidence in the way his team is handling this?
I can tell you this, the president has confidence. I can tell you this, that the president and his team rightfully took action.
But vulnerabilities and visitors common, it would appear. Former President Trump frequently hosts massive events at his Florida estate. from parties to political rallies, and he, too, the subject of a special counsel investigation for holding hundreds of classified documents that the National Archives says he took from the White House and didn't readily return when first asked. Now, both men and the policies for presidents in general under intensifying scrutiny. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
5:17, our time right now. Netflix and chill with a big old bag of cash. The streaming service looking for a new flight attendant for their private jet just ahead. A shocking price they're willing to pay to fill the position. Let me raise my hand now.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Time to have some fun. Our producer Andy decided to send in his cat, and he said, hey, this is one of my cats, Evita, dog of the day. All right, fair enough. So thank you to producer Andy for that. I know my dog and I got outside yesterday. Gorgeous afternoon for that. Really, really just fantastic, top notch. Now, that being said, this one probably okay, maybe just a little bit cooler. Certainly it's cooler in the morning. What we will be looking at, though, is about 6 p.m., the threat of a couple of showers. So if you're trying to get outside, earlier would be better. Obviously, you have less chance of rain, but it will be cooler. Once you get into the, I would say, evening hours, and especially around sunset, that's where there will likely be the threat of rain. So again, if you're taking your dog or maybe Avita wants to step outside, sniff the air, and then run back inside. It is going to be a much cooler day, but generally dry up until the evening. No major concerns, though, this morning, though, on 70, 75, 675, 35, or 4. We're looking at green conditions all across our maps.
Today's number of the day is one for the history buffs. 80 years ago today, on January 18th, 1943, the United States government banned the sale of pre-sliced bread. Automated bread slicers had been invented 15 years earlier and was a product that was widely popular, but the government wanted the steel from the slicer's blades and the wax paper using for wrapping the sliced bread for the war effort. Officials also wanted to keep the price of bread down. The public outcry was so great from both shoppers and bakers that the ban was rescinded 49 days later.
People who exercise regularly had lower rates of hospitalization and death from COVID-19. In a study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, regular exercise improved overall health, and healthier people generally had fewer serious complications with COVID infections. Earlier research has shown an association between exercise and better COVID outcomes. And this latest study goes a step further and suggests that even people whose age or health conditions make their higher risk had better outcomes if they were regular exercisers. Well, on average, Americans only get about 6 hours of sleep on a given night, while a majority aspire to get 8 or more. In this new study, commissioned by Premier Protein and conducted by one poll, uncovered that not only were Americans seldom waking up refreshed, but the average person struggles to wind down before bed nearly half of the week. Parents in particular claim to struggle with nighttime routines. And a trio of economists has tied the rise in deaths of despair to the decline of religion in America. Over the past 2 decades, the researchers who are from Wellesley College, Notre Dame, and Ohio State say the death rate from drug poisonings in the U.S. has tripled. At the same time, the suicide rate and the rate of alcoholic liver disease has increased by 30%. Middle-aged white Americans have been hit especially hard. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's to your health.
Let's take a look this morning at Netflix.com. Here behind me, the streaming service now looking for a new flight attendant for one of their private jets, and they're willing to pay up to $385,000. Sign me up. They say the right candidate should be flexible and willing to take on extra responsibilities. Well, we're already doing that. Like maintaining the stockroom, working both domestic and international flights, weekends, holidays, and extended periods of travel. Netflix lists the overall market range for similar positions at $60,000 to $385,000. That's a wide range, by the way. And the company says the final compensation amount will be determined by, quote, a wide range of compensation factors, whatever that may mean.
I'll take $385 a year.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. If I didn't have a family and kids, I would like totally sign up for that.
Yeah, flight attendant would be a very interesting job.
It is.
Yeah.
And there is a finesse to being like a good flight attendant. Like I had a good one on my way back from Orlando a couple of weeks ago on, and I'll call them out, Delta. She was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There are some that you're just like, yep, all right, I'll take my cookies and my coffee, thank you. You know what separates the best flight attendants from the good ones? The full can of soda. When they give you the full can of soda,
actually, bro,
you go that much higher.
I think personality, number one. Number two, I think on the Delta flight, they gave you like 2 to 3 snacks, not just one. Like you got like 2 to 3 granola bars, or you could have Sun Chips and a granola bar. And I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fly American. They're like, here's cookies. They may be expired. Good enough by me. Let's do this thing.
And if you're on Spirit, they're like, strap in. Here we go, baby.
Yeah, buckle up. 5:25 is our time right now. You better buckle up this morning.
Coming up, Clark County Sheriff Office explains how their new safety gear is going to impact deputies in the future.
Disturbing video coming out of Butler Township. A woman hit repeatedly by police during an arrest in minutes. Dayton 24/7 Hours. Mimi Ba shares the latest.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple has unveiled a faster new line of its MacBook Pros. The latest laptops can be purchased with either the M2 Pro or M2 Max chips, the most powerful Apple processors yet. And you can choose a 14 or 16-inch display starting at $2,000. They'll be available in stores next week. And DoorDash will soon be delivering Starbucks orders in all 50 states. The service has been operating in several cities since last year, but DoorDash says it's being expanded nationwide. Nearly everything on the Starbucks menu will be available to customers ordering through the DoorDash app. And U.S. national soccer matches are coming to HBO Max. The service will stream more than 20 contests, both men's and women's, per year for the next 8 years. World Cup and Olympic matches are not part of the deal, though. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a wonderful day.
I'm so glad we did this.
I'm so glad we did this.
I'm so glad we did this.
I'm so glad we did it!
I'm so
glad we did this.
Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it.
I'm so glad we did this.
Edward Jones.
Pain hits fast, so get relief fast. Only Tylenol Rapid Release Gels have laser-drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. And now, get relief without a pill with Tylenol Dissolve Packs. Relief without the water.
Who says you can't go for bold without going broke? Get the brands you want, the prices you want, whenever you want. TJ Maxx, where you can always afford to be you.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's a look at 3 quick stories on social. Overnight, we learned 16 people, including Ukraine's interior minister and other senior ministry officials, were killed in a helicopter crash just outside of Kyiv.
And Damar Hamlin tweeting this morning after seeing a mural painted on a brick wall, asking his followers
the right Twitter feed up. That's my bad.
We'll find it. He wants to know where it is.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, by the way. And a team of archaeologists uncovered 8 ostrich eggs believed to be between 4,000 and 7,500 years old. The coolest part, it was actually at a prehistoric campsite used by desert nomads.
Were they making scrambled eggs? No.
So rude.
What? I'm just saying.
Rude.
Today's top story, a video disturbing spreading on social media of a Butler Township police officer repeatedly hitting a woman during an arrest.
Yeah, I watched the video myself, and we are expecting a news conference in just a matter of hours to address the incident. Mamie Baugh shares the video and the very latest details.
The Butler Township Police Department says at this time it's under investigation, but that's all they will tell us. There will be a press conference later today at 3 p.m. Now, a lot of questions about the video that you see here on your screen. It happened on Monday. You see the woman in between officers, both pulling her by her arms. Then shortly after, while being restrained, one officer punches her 3 times in the head. And you can see that same officer then places his arm around the woman's neck. The other officer puts her in handcuffs. Now, again, a lot of questions here that remain, but not any answers right now. We don't know what led up to this incident, why this woman was being arrested. Also, does the police department classify this as excessive force? All questions I will be asking later today at the 3 p.m. press conference. Back to you.
And this morning, the Clark County law enforcement is getting new safety gear. It's thanks to the Brandeberry Winery in Enid, raising nearly $13,000.
Clara Faith joins us live from Dayton. And Clara, the department is hoping this new gear saves lives, right?
Yes, the department brought 60 personal ballistic shields. That's one for every cruiser, and Brandeberry Winery in Eden helped raise $13,000 to make that happen. The shields are lightweight and compact. These will help deputies protect themselves in making entries. This just comes months after Deputy Matthew Yates died while responding to a call. His wife, Tracy Yates, says she wanted to honor her husband and Deputy Suzanne Harper, who died in the line of duty back in 2011.
After Matthew was killed, it was very passionate to me to have something to protect the other deputies that are still here. Because I do believe if Matt had that day, he would have taken it in with him. Now it's there for the other deputies that I care very deeply about, and I don't want this to happen to anyone else.
Clark County Sheriff Deb Burchett says she's beyond grateful for the winery and for making all this happen. Reporting in Dayton, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
We are looking at a cooler start to your day. Temperatures, though, still quite mild by this time of year standards. In fact, 39 degrees is about 2 degrees warmer than the average high temperature this time of year, and this is about where we'll be for our low temperature. It is just one of those mornings that you look at and you go, okay, it's cooler than yesterday, but still well warmer than average overall. This morning, no major concerns at all if you're putting kids on a bus, other than the fact that maybe a couple roads may be still wet, although with the sunshine yesterday, it's hard to imagine that much more than the grass will be wet. Temperatures will be upper 30s and low 40s. Eventually, we'll settle in the mid to upper 40s during the afternoon and evening. Now, if you are putting kids on the bus or just starting your morning commute, we haven't seen any major issues this morning on 70, 75, 35, or 4. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on that traffic.
And this morning, Governor Mike DeWine announcing a historic increase in Ohio's savings account. Yesterday, the Office of Budget and Management transferred $727 million into the state's rainy day fund. There's now $3.5 billion in there. That's the largest balance in state history. It's set aside to protect the state budget from expenses that might happen in an economic downturn. President of the state Senate, Matt Huffman, says the state needs to be ready for rising inflation, adding, quote, raising taxes will not be the solution. Having this fund will allow the state to continue needed services.
A live look at the U.S. Capitol this morning. Republican State Senator Matt Dolan running for the U.S. Senate. He's challenging incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown. He's held the state seat since, or Brown's held the seat since 2007. Dolan has been a state senator since 2017. This is his second bid for the U.S. Senate. He ran in 2021 for Rob Portman's seat, ultimately losing to J.D. Vance in the GOP primary.
Fines are now building up for sports books just weeks after sports betting became legal here in Ohio. State regulators say some of the ads you've seen on TV are illegal. And in Ohio, you can't say free or risk-free, and you must include a link for problem gamblers to get help. State regulators are seeking more than $1 million in fines. The Casino Control Commission will decide that final amount.
Americans have slowed their spending lately, and now people are pulling back even more. Now, the Federal Reserve's latest survey shows that people spent less in the last 4 months of last year, but growth was at a high back in August. We're still well above pre-pandemic growth levels. People are putting off big ticket purchases like vehicles, home repairs, and vacations, which is worsening the decline.
Our time right now is 5:36. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Leaving a legacy after decades of service. Just ahead, Adam Harrow highlights a hometown hero who helped change local trauma care.
And getting outside is actually good for your health. In minutes, the new study that shows nature's impact on your well-being.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at. Temperatures are in the 30s. Note some cooler temperatures out to the west. So based on the winds, I don't think we're going to be doing for a much warmer day per se, but we'll get into the upper 40s, which for this time of year is still plenty warm. Here's the thing, though, about 6 p.m., that's where we'll start to see rain. I think the heaviest rain actually arrives overnight tonight. Temperatures will be in the mid-40s again for tomorrow. The difference is tomorrow does warm drastically. By the time we get into the nighttime, or rather the afternoon, we'll be upper 50s, perhaps even 60 degrees. The bulk of the rain arrives overnight. Still think that there could be a couple of showers in and around our area during the afternoon and evening. Is it a surefire thing? We'll see that second line of rain. No. And in fact, I think the biggest thing is going to be the strong gusty winds that develop second half of the day. That'll push in some colder air. Colder air lasts all the way through Tuesday, but note the temperature this time of year. The averages are in the upper 30s and low 20s. So even still, we're talking about temperatures retreating down towards the average daytime high temperature across the area.
Leaving a lasting legacy and helping change local trauma care.
As Adam Mercer shows, the longtime Premier Health leader is a hometown hero.
Premier Health says if you want to know what it takes to work in emergency and trauma, just ask Candy Skidmore. So Skidmore started as an emergency room and ICU nurse more than 40 years ago. During her early years with Premier, the helicopter program started to get off the ground. Skidmore joined the Care Flight program soon after as a flight nurse. She later became chief flight nurse, program manager, and then program director. Premier says under her leadership, Care Flight continued to grow and change. It added multiple helicopters, a mobile intensive care unit, and extending its range to a 150-mile radius by 2012. Skidmore became Premier Health's Vice President of Emergency and Trauma Services and an administrator for Care Flight. Jennifer Haller, the Chief Operating Officer for Miami Valley Hospital, said Skidmore is a quintessential leader. She went on to say, quote, her legacy will live on in the leaders she has developed, the knowledge she has shared, and the programs that she has created. Premier Health is a better place because of her, and it has been a true honor to work with and know her. Skidmore recently retired, and I think her work and legacy is a good definition of a hometown hero.
And if you know someone that's a hometown hero, let us know. Grab your phone and scan the QR code.
You could chime in your submission through our app. We just need a description on why they're a hometown hero and a few pictures or video.
5:42, our time right now. UD looking to bounce back, and Anthony Grant, addressing some mental health concerns. Just ahead, Matt Digby has the highlights from Dayton and Davidson on the Harwood.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Renovations and work continues at Welcome Stadium. Crews are looking for an increase to the overall budget for the project. Now, a total estimate with artificial turf and a new scoreboard went add on over $3 million to the $21 million budget for renovations. A new press box, refurbished stadium seating, and a new sound system is also expected to be added. Part of the funding for the renovations is coming from emergency relief dollars. The additions could generate $150,000 to $300,000 a year for Dayton Public Schools.
Well, the UD Flyers looking to get back into the win column after a tough home loss last Friday. Dayton meeting Davidson for the second time in less than a month. Matt Digby has the highlights from UD Arena.
Dayton men's basketball returning to the win column Tuesday with a 68-61 victory over the Davidson Wildcats. That completes a regular season sweep for UD over Davidson. But this was a game that was very back and forth in the early going. 5 lead changes throughout the course of the night, and Davidson actually had a 3-point lead at halftime. But UD beginning the second half on a 13-2 run to take back the lead. The Wildcats will continue to trim the deficit throughout the second half, but UD always able to stay one step ahead as they get the win by 7, and head coach Anthony Grant pleased with how the Flyers were able to respond from Friday's tough loss against VCU, but he also took the time to address another topic.
These young men, we're asking them to sacrifice quite a bit for us to be able to do what we do and enjoy what we enjoy. So I'm just asking all the Flyer fans just to understand that we're dealing with 18, 21, 22-year-olds, right? And this is about them. This is about them. When we have people that make it about themselves and attack kids because of their own agenda, it sickens me. They have families. Mental health is real. So if you're a Flyer fan, I ask you just to understand what you're dealing with young people. It's nothing easy about trying to win a championship, and this was a really hard-fought, really high-level, in my opinion, college basketball game where you had to make plays.
So UD now 13-6 overall, 5-1 in Atlantic 10 play. They will be on the road this weekend at George Washington, and then another road game coming up on Wednesday the 25th at Rhode Island. That will be the Flyers' only regular season meeting against former UD head coach Archie Miller. At UD Arena, I'm Matt Digby.
Good morning. We are looking at just some cloudy skies for right now. Temperatures quite mild. Again, we're actually closer to the average high temperature right now than we are the average low, and there have not been any mornings where it's really truly gotten colder. In fact, Natalie left me a note last night that said we are now on track for the second warmest January in our history. So gives you an idea. We're talking about near record-breaking warmth, not just short-term, but actually long-term. Meanwhile, we're going to deal with some wet weather. Overnight tonight, periods of heavy rain are possible. Note the fact that probably by mid-morning, we'll see this clean up. This will start to move out. Perhaps a few areas of light precipitation on Friday, meaning more of like that snizzle that we saw earlier. For those that know, that's like snow that is a drizzle. We are looking at Sunday, the potential for either rain or snow. Note, it's really just dependent on where exactly this system tracks, but there could be at least the potential for both either rain or snow. Then for next week, Tuesday into Wednesday, we're watching this system. Some of the other models have it further out to the west, which actually puts us into the rain bands. This one has us directly in the snow bands. This is something worth watching because we are going to at least see the chance of multiple days of wet weather. Now, whether or not that means snow or rain, again, it really depends on each individual system. Meanwhile, today's is going to be mainly rain, and it's going to happen during the second half of the day, particularly the overnight period after 6 p.m. So if you can, get outside during the afternoon where temperatures are a little bit milder during the middle part. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, haven't seen any issues on 70, 75, 35, or 4.
Our time right now is 5:50. Celebrating a birthday with a bang. Coming up, the new model from Corvette and why it's first of its kind.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
In this morning's GMA First Look, Mystery in Paradise. The family of an American public defender who died while celebrating his first wedding anniversary at a Mexican resort is demanding answers, saying they believe he was the victim of a crime.
The Mexican authorities are
currently investigating the case, and they've released almost no information at all. This is also a very dangerous part of the world. It's important that everybody just keep an open mind.
4-star La Rocas Resort and Spa, which advertises itself as the best choice south of the border, located 15 minutes south of Tijuana, is now at the center of the investigation. Authorities confirming the day before the couple's anniversary, Blair was found dead from an apparent fall from a third-floor balcony, calling the tragedy an unfortunate accident. But Blair's family now hiring a private investigator. And we'll have much more on his family's urgent search for answers coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
I have moderate to severe Crohn's disease. Now there's Skyrizi.
Things are looking up. I've got symptom relief. Control of my Crohn's means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
Feel significant symptom relief with Skyrizi, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Skyrizi is the first and only IL-23 inhibitor for Crohn's that can deliver both clinical remission and endoscopic improvement. The majority of people on Skyrizi achieve long-lasting remission at 1 year.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine or plan to. Liver problems may occur in Crohn's disease.
Ask your gastroenterologist how you can take control of your Crohn's with Skyrizi.
Control is everything to me.
Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where this morning we're talking about a chillier morning. Now, I'm out here, obviously, suit jacket on. I'm actually going to close this up because I am getting a little bit of a chill. Not that this really helps anything, but it makes me feel a little bit better. But we are going to be looking at temperatures today, upper 30s and low 40s. This compared to yesterday, where we were well into the 50s. Now, I don't expect it to be raining all day. In fact, I would say it won't even rain up until we get into the evening and really truly overnight tonight, but there is likely to be some heavy rain at times. So if you're planning out your tomorrow morning's commute, it's probably going to be similar to yesterday's, with a lot of wet roads. The potential is there for certainly some low-lying areas beginning to pond, perhaps even some of the roads that are more susceptible, that don't drain well, that everything seems to go wrong at. Those areas could see some very low-lying flooding. Of course, then beyond that, colder weather settles in, so might as well enjoy the mild temperatures today while they last.
Parents say get outside, it's good for you. And they're not wrong. A new study has found that spending time in nature 3 to 4 times a week reduces the need for some medications. The study, published in the journal Occupational Environmental Science, interviewed approximately 6,000 random people in Finland. Now, it found that nature visits, like going for a walk in the park or along a lake, were associated with lower odds of using blood pressure, anxiety, and asthma medications. According to the new study, observing nature while indoors didn't appear to work.
Apple fans are excited as two popular devices are now getting a serious upgrade. The tech giant has launched two new chips, the M2 Pro and the M2 Max. Apple describes the chips as more powerful and versatile. They will use both to upgrade their new Mac Mini and MacBook Pro. This means the devices should be faster with higher performance. The upgraded version of both computers are slated to go on sale next Tuesday.
Behind me, Chevrolet.com, as you're seeing Corvettes over the last 70 years. The classic car celebrating a birthday, and General Motors rolling out the first ever hybrid Corvette, the E-Ray. Now, the car's front wheels use an electric motor and the back ones rely on gasoline engine. The E-Ray is also GM's fastest accelerating Corvette model ever. It has 655 horsepower, go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.5 seconds. The Corvette E-Ray is not a plug-in hybrid. Its battery is charged as the car slows and brakes, and at times while the car drives. The price for the E-Ray starts at $104,000 and will be sold sometime later this year. You guys got $104,000 to...
No. I mean, I might, but I ain't going to spend it on that.
That'd be sweet, though.
I have $2. No, I love those cars where it's like, oh man, that looks great. Like,
it's a whole
what's
house.
The price? Yeah, $104,000. Nope, guess not. Guess we're going back to a bike with, maybe a motor attached.
Isn't that what luxury is all about, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's
buying
what luxury
stuff you can't afford.
Yeah, that's the thing. Can I live that life, please?
Live that high life.
Let me live that high life.
I want to have
Let me dream.
A pet leopard in the.
A pet leopard? Who are you, Mike Tyson?
That could, yeah.
What did he have? What did he have?
He had tigers.
Oh, tigers.
Yeah. I had a tiger.
Hangover. Come on,
thanks,
Lee.
Yeah, thanks for Hangover.
Yeah.
You got it.
Our time right now is 5:57. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing on social this morning. German police detaining climate activist Greta Thunberg. Now, she was protesting the demolition of a village to expand a coal mine.
And defending champ and #1 seed Rafael Nadal has been kicked out, or knocked out, of the Australian Open in the second round. American Mackenzie McDonald moves on after beating the tennis great in straight sets.
Oh, you hear that? That's the bald eagle screaming in joy. Yeah, get it. And check this out. This video is going viral. It shows a 12-year-old boy in Florida catching a great white shark while fishing with his family. We're going to need a bigger boat. I think that's what they're thinking.
I think you just let it go. You let it go.
Good call.
All right, our top story this morning, the Clark County Sheriff's Office now getting some help to buy new safety gear for their deputies. This comes after Deputy Matthew Yates died in the line of duty back in July.
Clara Faith joins us live from Dayton. And Clara, a local winery led the fundraising efforts.
Yes, Bearberry Winery in Eden raised nearly $13,000 to honor Deputy Suzanne Harper and Matthew Yates. Both of them died in the line of duty. After Matthew Yates died back in July, the community came together to help prevent tragedies like this from happening. So the winery sold wine bottles honoring Deputy Yates and Harper. For each bottle sold, they donated $4 to the Clark County Sheriff's Office. And according to the Clark County Sheriff, Deb Burchard says the money will go towards buying ballistic shields. And also, she thanks the community for coming together to make this happen.
I just want to thank everyone here for what they did, because it's just any time that my deputies, girls or guys, can have something that makes them safer on the streets, that's the most important thing to me.
The ballistic shields are made to stop a wide variety of bullets. The sheriff's office brought 60 shields. Each deputy on the force now has one. And coming up, Deputy Yates' wife shares how this safety gear is important for deputies and their safety in the future. Reporting in Dayton, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
In the last week, thieves made off with 38 cars in the Dayton area. Police say 29 of those were Kias and Hyundais. Now, social media is flooded with Kia Boy videos showing how these cars are stolen. Police are now urging all drivers to buy steering wheel locks for their vehicles. Remember, you can check car thefts in your area by heading to the Community Crime Map at communitycrimemap.com.
Good morning. We're looking at a mild start to your morning, though cooler than this time 24 hours ago. Boy, I hate to say it this way, but we've been really spoiled here if you're a fan of mild temperatures throughout the month of January. At some point, reality is likely to settle in, which means temperatures will actually be cold in the morning as opposed to just chilly at best. We're aiming pretty upper 30s, though, through 9 a.m. It will be, generally speaking, cloudy, although we could get a couple of breaks here or there. By the time we get towards 11, we'll scoot above that 40-degree mark. Later on today, I do expect rain. It is going to be a day where we could actually see some potentially heavy rain. Let me scratch that. A night where we could see some heavy rain, because a lot of this rain will fall while we're asleep. We'll time it out for you, talk amounts and things of that nature coming up in just a bit. But first, let's get you out the door this morning, where we're seeing green all across the maps. No major issues at 70, 75, 675, 35, or 4 as yet reported.
We now know this morning a Cleveland man is behind bars on a $5 million bond after police say he shot 5 of his family members, which 4 of them died. The only survivor is a child. Vic Gideon explains what happened in court.
Martin Muniz, charged with aggravated murder. Young man, what's your name? Martin Muniz.
The 41-year-old Muniz charged with shooting 5 people, 4 fatally, on Mack Court in Brooklyn Center Friday, appearing in court for the first time.
The state will ask for at least a $5 million bond in this case. The defendant presents a very high flight risk.
The prosecution then laid out the reason for the high bond. Muniz accused of killing his sister, her son, her father, and her husband.
We have 5 victims. 4 of them died as a result of gunshot wounds. The defendant was interviewed. He gave a statement in regards to how he did this, showing no remorse or empathy for the victims.
The state asking for consideration of the youngest victim, 8-year-old Ayana.
We have a victim, his 8-year-old niece that survived. She was shot in the neck. She's still in the hospital. The state will ask for a no-contact order.
Judge Charles Patton then set the bond at the amount requested by the prosecution.
$5 million cash surety, Mike.
A new study is breaking down how a second respiratory illness can impact kids with COVID-19. The journal Pediatrics published data on over 4,300 children hospitalized because of coronavirus. They say 21% also had another respiratory virus. Patients younger than 5 tended to be sicker with more symptoms. They were more likely to need more oxygen support. Experts say the findings highlight the importance of keeping kids up to date on all their vaccines.
Well, for the third year running, COVID-19 is expected to be the third leading cause of death in the U.S. That's according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Only heart disease and cancer have actually killed more people. Now, many states are still reviewing death certificates and refining their reporting, so we don't have the exact final numbers. COVID-19, though, has killed more than 1 million people in the U.S. since the pandemic began. Life expectancy is down 2.5 years.
This morning, we're waiting to learn if nearly 8,000 troops who refused the COVID-19 vaccine will get back pay. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin repealed the vaccine mandate a week ago. Republican lawmakers calling those service members to be reinstated or given an honorable discharge and full back pay. The Pentagon says it's still exploring options.
And the Department of Veterans Affairs is now expanding emergency mental health care for veterans, even if they're not in the VA system. Veterans in an acute suicidal crisis can now get free treatment from any VA or non-VA healthcare facility. That covers inpatient care, outpatient care, and reimbursements for transportation and for follow-up care. The Secretary of Veterans Affairs saying, quote, "This expansion of care will save veterans' lives, and there's nothing more important than that."
The National Museum of the U.S. Air Force will be closed January 25th for emergency management response training. Now, if you're close to the museum that day, you may see emergency vehicles, travel delays, and blocked roads, and hear alert sirens. The museum is asking you to plan ahead. They'll reopen at 9 a.m. the next morning.
Our time right now, my bad, is 6:07. Don't forget your headlines. Just scroll it.
Even during commercials.
Dealing with a food desert in West Dayton just ahead, the multi-million-dollar project that looks to help and when residents can expect relief.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's what we're looking at right now as you overlook the city of Dayton. There's very quiet conditions this morning. We have been tracking temperatures not only across our area, but across the region as well. It's a morning where this low that is right now spinning over the central United States will really give us the next phase of warmer temperatures. Here's what we're looking at across the country, and you see that big shift of cooler air or warmer air off to the south. So out to the west, cool down. We have a low over Albuquerque. Then this little bit of a, I would say it's a little ridge, and then little trough. What ends up happening is this moves north, this low moves in, and what we're going to get is some wet weather, but it's mainly going to be rain this go around. Once we start to get that colder air, and really it's more seasonably cold air, the next round, well, it really just depends on timing and location. Speaking of location, I haven't seen one this morning that has had a steady problem. 4, 35, 70, 75, 675, all looking good so far.
Our time right now is 6:11. In Greene, we hope we introduce you to a 9-year-old who loves animals and always wants to help. Just ahead, where she wants to be and what she's looking for in a family.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
At any given time, there's more than 600 kids in foster care in Montgomery County alone. The goal, of course, is always to reunite them with their families, but some can never go back home, and now they're up for adoption.
Dayton 24/7 now is teamed up with Grant. We hope to help. And this morning, we want to introduce you to Adriana, who's right now, sorry, so used to it, who's right now looking for a family.
My name is Adriana. I am 9 years old and I'm in 3rd grade. Usually I like to play on the swings, or I just like to run around or play hide and seek sometimes. I like to do art and music, and I like doing math. Math, I'm actually really good at instead of reading. Reading, I'm getting better at it, and a few other things, but I like a lot, and I want to be a lot. I would rather be in the city, and I would have a few animals. I have had a cat. I would like to have a dog, a cat, and a snake. I would like to have a nice family that actually cares. It doesn't push you down when you really need help. One thing that I like about myself is that I am a helper and I will help my family. I clean and we take turns, like cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen, the day room, and the playroom. Family would be like you take care of one another and you love each other and you would be there for them. That's what my brothers and sisters do.
You can find out more about Adriana and other kids who are up for adoption right now at Dayton247now.com.
Every week, we're going to feature another child in our Dayton 24/7 Now's Grammy Hope Profiles.
Here's what we're looking at this morning as you gear up for your day. Expect a cloudy start. Overall, I would say the trend is going to be for partly to mostly cloudy conditions. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the type of day where we're going to see a ton of sun, but there could be a pocket or two of sunshine here or there across the area. And again, it is going to be, generally speaking, dry, although I wouldn't rule out a stray shower. So here's how today shapes up. Again, cloudy skies. Here's where the rain is right now. That will arrive somewhere around the evening hours. I'm thinking 5, 6 at the absolute earliest. But really, this is an overnight rain event. Here we are about midnight, 1 in the morning. That's where we could see the heaviest rainfall falling. By 8 in the morning, that rain will have shifted east. Temperatures will be warm. In fact, there's going to be a period tomorrow where we could eke out the sunshine. Because of that, we'll make a run at 60 degrees. Next wave moves through during the evening hours or afternoon, evening. Could be a couple of stray showers, but more importantly, that'll bring in gusty winds, think 30, 40 mile per hour gusts. Plus, the potential's there for this to drop temperatures 10, 15 degrees in hour and a half, maybe even an hour time period. That'll put us down into the 30s for your Friday morning. In terms of how much rain, we are talking about a decent rainfall event for us. Half inch across the area, maybe even some spots getting locally heavier is possible, but at the present point, it doesn't look like this is going to cause widespread flooding. Instead, this is going to be more, let's say, just a little bit more of a nuisance. As for the roads this morning, it's dry outside, but we have seen at least one incident right now at Frederick Pike and Martindale Road. Let's head over to Columbus, see what's going on there.
Good morning on this Wednesday. Things are looking good, especially if you're going to be working your way towards Columbus. It's chilly outside, but clear. We're not dealing with any rain or fog or anything that's going to slow you down. Those 70 eastbound lanes moving nicely on in towards 270 and then towards downtown without any problems. If you're going to be heading up to the north, 315, 71 also looking good in those northbound lanes. And over here by the airport, everything is clear. So if you're going to be traveling 670 eastbound and making your way towards the airport this morning, you're not going to have any issues or slowdowns. We did have a little bit of construction over here on the east side, but that cleared pretty early on. So right now we don't have anything on our board to alert you about. It should be a decent commute. I'm Katie McKee with your Triple Team Traffic.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a $14 million construction project in West Dayton will help break into the area's food desert. Homeful, a Dayton-based social services organization, has broken ground on the two-phase project at the intersection of US 35 and Gettysburg Avenue. Now, the first phase will construct a 49,000 square foot building with a full service grocery store, a doctor's office, and pharmacy. The regional food hub will help solve the area's existing food desert by providing fresh local produce at budget friendly prices. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com, click on the news tab and select Dayton Business Journal.
Taking a look this morning at Netflix.com. Here behind me, the streaming service looking for a new flight attendant for one of their private jets, and they're willing to pay up to $385,000. That's crazy. They say the right candidate should be flexible and willing to take on extra responsibilities, like maintaining the stockroom, working both domestic and international flights, weekends, holidays, and extended periods of travel. Netflix lists the overall market range for similar positions at $60,000 to $385,000. The company says the final compensation amount will be determined by, quote, a wide range of compensation factors.
Our time right now, 6:21. Digital producer Max stopping by today with your Facebook poll question coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
All right, we're going to do things, again, a little weirdly. Pet of the day, obviously not a dog, is Evita. This is producer Andy's cat, or one of his cats, I should say. I'm not sure if it's an indoor or outdoor cat, but judging by the photo, I think it's one of those cats that likes to hide a little bit. Meanwhile, we are looking at green paws all across the board. We can say paws. Obviously, it is a cat. Temperatures upper 30s, giving way to 40s. Should be in the middle 40s by the time we get into the afternoon and evening. The one time period where I do have the yellow paw is going to be 6 p.m. That's where we're likely to see some showers moving into the area. I would expect it to be mainly an overnight event. So if we were to move this thing down all the way to, let's say, 10, 11 tonight, well, that's where you would actually see probably some red paws across the area as opposed to just yellow paws, because that's when we do expect some of the heaviest rainfall to move in. So today, a day where you could probably get outside, whether it's Evita, Valkyrie, or Cooper, or at least, I forget your dog's name, sorry, forgive me. We are looking at a morning, though,
Scarlet.
that Scarlet, yeah, oh boy.
Just call her Diva,
Eh.
fine.
That's your nickname. All right, anyway, here's what it looks like on the maps this morning. Haven't seen any issues at 675, 35, or 4, so we should be okay thus far on the major interstates.
Wait, let me take it. All right, our digital producer Max standing by this morning with our Facebook poll question.
Nailed
Max,
it.
what do you got for us? What are folks saying?
Today is National
No more
Winnie the
special
Pooh Day.
Okay. Wait, what?
It's National Winnie the Pooh Day.
Winnie the Pooh.
You know, it's also National Michigan Day, but I didn't want to,
upset her?
I didn't want to get attacked by Elise specifically. She's very into
I mean,
Ohio State.
I was going to say, because of your Ohio State fandom, you have been very visceral
If I
towards
came up here
Michigan
just
as a
wearing all
state.
blue, I thought about wearing a blue suit. It would have been very funny.
You would have to wear actual Michigan colors. It's
Like
not
blue
just,
and
maize?
Yeah, blue and maize.
Maize. Anyway, it's National Winnie the Pooh Day. What is your favorite childhood story?
Oh, story or character?
Character, story, because there are all different kinds.
Like book, movie.
Book, movie, cartoon.
Story
Just
falls under
when you
all
think
that.
about your childhood, what comes to mind?
I'd have to go with something by Roald Dahl. I used to love him as a kid growing up, like his books, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but there was one book he wrote, and I can't remember its name. I'll have to look it up, but I just remember reading 90% of it, never got to the 10%, read the 10% as an adult, disappointing.
I would say I loved Matilda as a kid.
Oh, another Roald Dahl classic.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Loved me some Matilda.
I love the Little Critter books. Those are some of my favorites. And then also the Berenstain Bears.
What about the Wild Things? Where the Wild Things are?
That was a good one, too.
That was
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, good
Velveteen
stuff.
Rabbit.
You know, this is very on brand. Producer Andy says Peter Pan.
Very on
brand. I asked him why, and he said it has pirates.
That or he's a grown man-child, one thing or another. Anyways.
Grown man child. I'm going to go with the latter.
All right, Max.
All of the above.
There we go.
Agreement.
All right, Max,
Chime in
there
right
you
now
go.
on
Chime in
Facebook.
right now on Facebook.
Are you
I
matching your,
am. I am.
We're going to fight. All right, time right now. Just kidding.
What's different from
All
any
right,
other
time right
day?
now, 6:27, still to come.
Coming up, Clark County Sheriff Department has new safety gear. We tell you how this is impacting them.
Disturbing video coming out of Butler Township. A woman hit repeatedly by police during an arrest. In minutes, Dayton 24/7 Now's Maybe Boss shares the very latest.
But first, here's Genevieve Gorder with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
Hey everybody, I have something today that cuts down your cleaning time and saves you money in the laundry room. Who doesn't want that? This is Woolsey's dryer balls. They are amazing and they're made of 100% pure New Zealand wool. No fillers, no additives, no chemicals. Thank you. And the best part is these last for up to 1,000 loads of laundry. Seriously, this is such a smart money-saving product. So if you don't know, this is how they work. You simply place the wool dryer balls in the dryer with your wet clothes. Press start. Once you have that dryer going, the Woolseys bounce their way in between all those layers of wet clothes and sheets that would otherwise be stuck together. And what that does is it allows for hot air to circulate and get everything drier faster, up to 25% faster. Not kidding. And they're also acting as an eco-friendly fabric softener. And just a note, if you're that person that has a wool sensitivity, these don't shed and they're safe for you. So if you want to take your laundry up a notch, add a few drops of these essential oils. They're included to the Woolseys and make them smell amazing. Everything smells amazing. And instead of spending money on dryer sheets over and over and over and over, get a pack of these. Right now, we are offering 25% off. Packs come in 3 or 6 with the 3 essential oils included. Start saving time and money. Go to asadeals.com now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
A look at 3 quick stories on social overnight. We learned 16 people, including Ukraine's interior minister and other senior ministry officials, were killed in a helicopter crash outside of Kyiv.
Damar Hamlin tweeting this morning after seeing this mural painted on a brick wall. He's asking his followers where the mural is located.
It's pretty cool. And a team of archaeologists uncovered 8 ostrich eggs believed to be between 4,000 and 7,500 years old.
That's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. And it was found at a prehistoric campsite which was used by desert nomads.
Yeah, don't want to live in the desert.
That's what you take from that?
Yeah. Today's top story, a disturbing video is spreading on social media of a Butler Township police officer repeatedly hitting a woman during an arrest.
We are expecting a news conference sometime today to address the incident, and Mamie Ball shares the video and the very latest details.
The Butler Township Police Department says at this time it's under investigation, but that's all they will tell us. There will be a press conference later today at 3 p.m. Now, a lot of questions about the video that you see here on your screen. It happened on Monday. You see the woman in between officers, both pulling her by her arms. Then shortly after, while being restrained, one officer punches her 3 times in the head. And you can see that same officer then places his arm around the woman's neck. The other officer puts her in handcuffs. Now, again, a lot of questions here that remain, but not any answers right now. We don't know what led up to this incident, why this woman was being arrested. Also, does the police department classify this as excessive force? All questions I will be asking later today at the 3 p.m. press conference. Back to you.
And this morning, the Clare County law enforcement is getting new safety gear. This is thanks to Brandyberry Winery in Enid, raising nearly $13,000.
Claire Faith joins us live from Dayton. And Claire, the department is hoping this new gear saves lives.
Yes, the department brought 60 personal ballistic shells. That's one for every cruiser, and that's all thanks to Brandyberry Winery in Eden. The shells are lightweight and compact. These will help deputies protect themselves in making entries. This comes just months after Deputy Matthew Yates died while responding to a call. His wife, Tracy Yates, says she wanted to honor her husband and Deputy Suzanne Harper. She died in a line of duty back in 2011.
After Matthew was killed, it was very passionate to me to have something to protect the other deputies that are still here. Because I do believe if Matt had that day, he would have taken it in with him. Now it's there for the other deputies that I care very deeply about, and I don't want this to happen to anyone else.
Clark County Sheriff says that she's happy and grateful for the winery and the community for helping make this happen. Now back to you guys in studio.
Time to take a look at the national picture because we do have a sprawling low pressure system. It's always interesting when you do get these style of systems because you see a wide variety of impacts. Particularly, you look towards Nebraska area over in towards Wichita and see the difference between, let's say, a couple hundred miles is the difference between a lot of snow versus a lot of rain. This system, as it approaches us, going to give us potentially a lot of rain, but it won't be here for this morning. If you're putting the kids on the bus, we're not expecting any major issues. Temperatures upper 30s, giving way to low 40s. Generally speaking, it'll be cloudy, but we could actually get some periods of maybe just a little bit of the break in the overcast. We'll call it partly to mostly cloudy to be safe, but either way, it's definitely not going to be a sunshine-filled morning by any stretch of the imagination. Meanwhile, just the one incident this morning, otherwise 675, 70, 35, 4, all looking okay.
We now know this morning Governor Mike DeWine announcing a historic increase in Ohio's savings account. In fact, yesterday, the Office of Budget and Management transferred $727 million into the state's rainy day fund. There's now $3.5 billion in there. That is the largest balance in state history. It's set aside to protect the state budget from expenses that might happen in an economic downturn. And the president of the state Senate, Matt Huffman, says the state needs to be ready for rising inflation, adding, quote, raising taxes will not be the solution. Having this fund will allow the state to continue needed services.
A live look now at the U.S. Capitol. Republican State Senator Matt Dolan running for the U.S. Senate. Now he's challenging incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown. He's held the seat since 2007. Dolan's been a state senator since 2017. This is his second bid for the Senate. He ran in 2021 for Rob Portman's seat, ultimately losing to J.D. Vance in the GOP primary.
Our timer now is 6:37. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
State regulators taking issue with sports gambling ads on TV. Today, the Casino Control Commission will be meeting. And in minutes, Mike McCarthy takes a look at the potential fines that could be handed down.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
than their normal highs this time of year.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where this morning it's not beach-like, but it's a patio nonetheless. You know, it's not a bad morning. Could be a whole lot worse. We are going to see an up and down week of temperatures, though, and mostly down. You look at today, we'll be upper 40s, tomorrow upper 50s. Then from there, we'll retreat down to upper 30s and 40s. And before anybody sends me hate mail, we're looking at the potential for temperatures to drop basically to average. So it's one of those drops that for this time of year is perfectly standard. And in fact, what we're really getting is a bunch of temperatures that are actually approaching the highs of the year, or rather the record highs. So again, we're talking about temperatures well above average over the course of January. In fact, it's the second warmest January on record so far, and we could be looking at potentially getting even warmer at times if, we get an air mass or two. So again, something to keep in mind. Meanwhile, for this week, temperatures upper 30s and 40s, so it's a retreat down towards average, but we'll also be looking at a couple of chances of wet weather. We'll have that coming up.
Happening today, you can bet fines are coming after the rollout of sports betting here in Ohio. State regulators will be meeting this morning.
And they're not happy. Mike McCarthy is in Columbus to explain why some companies will be on the losing end.
As of this morning, sports betting is only in its 18th day of being legal here in Ohio. But the Ohio Casino Control Commission that regulates gambling in Ohio says it is deeply disappointed with what it sees as a very rocky start. Here's why. This all has to do with the regulations for those sports betting ads you have probably seen over and over again. Companies are not allowed to say things like free or risk-free. They must include a link for problem gamblers, and they can't market this to anyone under the age of 21. But the Casino Control Commission spokesperson told our investigator, Daryl Rowland, many of the ads are in fact legal that you are seeing, and notices for violations are out.
We kept seeing, these instances where the ads were violating, again, the law, as well as our rules, and the industry claims to, take responsible gambling very seriously. The commission definitely does, and we needed to see their actions matching their words, and that they held that to the same value that we do.
As of right now, state regulators are seeking more than $1 million in fines already. The commission will decide which company pays what amount, but ultimately here, if they do not comply, the commission could pull a company's license. We haven't heard plans for anything like that just yet. Here is what we are watching today. First off, the commission is meeting and we'll get an update on the status of sports betting. It has announced it's seeking ad-related fines against 3 companies, and we expect a potential decision today for at least one of them. We'll be watching what happens here in Columbus, and we'll keep you updated. Reporting.
Our time right now is 6:45. Getting outside is actually good for your health. In minutes, the new study that shows nature's impact on your well-being.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. Here's the live view from Denver, a very snowy Denver outside. See all that snow on the ground plus in the air. It does look like it's mainly light snow at this point, but you know, just based on what was on radar, maybe overnight, there was probably a good period or two where it was coming down. Of course, West Coast has been absolutely inundated with moisture, and that's good news for some of the reservoirs out there because you know, it's been really dry, not just a couple of years, but actually now we're going on decades across parts of the West Coast. Meanwhile, there's the snow in Denver. We are looking at just some clouds up until maybe 5, 6 p.m. That's where we'll start to see some rain moving in. I think that rain will linger and especially get heavy at times overnight. Through tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning itself should be dry by the time we get into the morning commute. However, I do think that we will actually get some sunshine. All right, not bad, right? Temperatures upper 50s. Colder air moves in, and with it, we will turn quite windy as we get into the nighttime hours. In terms of rainfall, this may not be a record beater. This may not be the type of system that produces multiple inches of rain. But still, we're talking about half-inch totals across the area. That's a pretty good, decent rainfall for realistically a one-night event. We are going to get temperatures that will cool off. And again, it's more retreating down towards average. Mentioned this before, Sunday, a chance of rain or snow. It's similar to what we're seeing right now. It really depends on how far north that warm air tracks. Tracks further north, we're probably looking at rain. Tracks further south, well, all right, we may start to see the white stuff, which, by the way, we are extremely light, as you would imagine this time of year. So far, traffic has also been, generally speaking, light. We haven't seen any issues on 75, 675, or elsewhere. We do have that one incident right now, though, at Beckman Street and Medford. Give yourself a little bit of extra time in and around that area.
Apple fans are excited as two popular devices are getting a serious upgrade. The tech giant has now launched two new chips, the M2 Pro and the M2 Max. Apple describes the chips as more powerful and versatile. They will use both to upgrade their new Mac Mini and MacBook Pro, and this means the devices should be faster with higher performance. Now, the upgraded version of both computers are slated to go on sale next Tuesday.
Parents say get outside, it's good for you. Well, they're not wrong. A new study's found that spending time in nature 3 to 4 times a week reduces the need for some medications. The study, published in the journal Occupational Environmental Medicine, interviewed approximately 6,000 random people in Finland. Now, it found that nature visits, like going for a walk in the park or along a lake, were associated with lower odds of using blood pressure, anxiety, and asthma medications. According to the study, observing nature while indoors didn't appear to work. Honestly, whenever I'm outside, I'm always in a better mood. Always.
Yeah, because you're not inside with, you know, us two here, right?
Yeah, no.
I think it's the fresh air, the breeze. It's like, you know, like yesterday, the sun. It was just nice.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I'm more reflective when I'm outside. And
I think you get a better rhythm because when you're inside, you don't have a feel for how the day is going. When I'm outside, I get the rhythm, I get the wind, I hear the neighbors, I hear the day progressing, and it's just kind of like really nice, especially I'm the type, I sit in the backyard in the patio in my chair for hours on end.
It's okay.
And just watch the dog. Yeah, next time I'll just throw the computer. Like, that'll be better. Hey, you know what? They got a new MacBook, so there you go.
Yeah, you never know.
My favorite thing about going on walks in the neighborhood is the Midwest wave to the neighbors.
Hey, how you doing?
Or every car that goes by.
That's something in our neighborhood that is a definite thing. Like, even when you're walking and your neighbor's like driving by, you're always like,
Yep.
You got to give the little hometown salute.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know why it brings me a little bit of joy.
I don't know. Well, okay.
It's nice saying hello to people.
You don't like saying hello.
I don't like small talk.
I know. That's why.
I hate it.
That's why you're stuck between us two.
I know. I just let you two converse.
Our time right now, 6:52. UD looking to bounce back, and Anthony Grant addressing mental health concerns. At 7 on Fox 45, Matt Digby has the highlights from Dayton and Davidson on the hardwood. A disturbing video is spreading on social media of a Butler Township police officer repeatedly hitting a woman during an arrest.
We're expecting a news conference this afternoon to address that incident. Mamie Baugh shares the video and the latest details.
The Butler Township Police Department says at this time it's under investigation, but that's all they will tell us. There will be a press conference later today at 3 p.m. Now, a lot of questions about the video that you see here on your screen. It happened on Monday. You see the woman in between officers, both pulling her by her arms. Then shortly after, while being restrained, one officer punches her 3 times in the head. And you can see that same officer then places his arm around the woman's neck. The other officer puts her in handcuffs. Now, again, a lot of questions here that remain, but not any answers right now. We don't know what led up to this incident, why this woman was being arrested. Also, does the police department classify this as excessive force? All questions I will be asking later today at the 3 p.m. press conference. Back to you.
Over the last week, thieves have made off with 38 cars in the Dayton area, and police say 29 of them were Kias or Hyundais. Social media is flooded with Kia Boy videos showing how these cars are stolen. Police are now urging all drivers to buy steering wheel locks for their vehicles. And remember, you can check car thefts in your areas by heading to the Community Crime Map at communitycrimemap.com.
This morning, the Clark County Sheriff's Office will be getting some help to buy new safety gear for their deputies. Now, this comes after Deputy Matthew Yates died in the line of duty back in July.
Clara Faith joins us live from Springfield. And Clara, how much money was raised?
Granbury raised nearly $13,000 to honor Deputy Suzanne Harper and Matthew Yates, who both died in the line of duty. After Deputy Yates died in July, the community came together to help prevent tragedies like this from happening again. So the winery sold wine bottles honoring Deputy Yates and Harper. For each bottle sold, they donated $4 to the Clark County office. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says the money will go towards buying ballistic shields, and they also are thanking the community for coming together to make this happen.
I just want to thank everyone here for what they did, because it's just any time that my deputies, girls or guys, can have something that makes them safer on the streets, that's the most important thing to me.
The ballistic shields are made to stop a wide variety of bullets. The sheriff's office brought 60 shields. Each deputy on the force has one now. And later, we'll be talking about how this is going to impact the sheriff's office in the community. Now back to you.
A new study is breaking down how a second respiratory illness can impact kids with COVID-19. The journal Pediatrics published data on over 4,300 children hospitalized because of the coronavirus. They say 21% also had another respiratory virus. Patients younger than 5 tended to be sicker with more severe symptoms, and they were more likely to need more oxygen support. Experts say the findings highlight the importance of keeping kids up to date on all their vaccines.
For the 3rd year running, COVID-19 is expected to be the 3rd leading cause of death in the U.S. That's according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Only heart disease and cancer have killed more people. Now, many states are still reviewing death certificates and even refining their reporting, so we don't have the exact final numbers. However, COVID-19 has killed more than 1 million people in the U.S. since the pandemic began. Life expectancy